Today, our family welcomes the lengthy sentence handed down by the court to Fiona Beal for the brutal murder of our son, Nick Billingham, in November 2021. Nothing will ever make up for the pain we have suffered for the now more than 2.5 years since, but at least we can sleep safe in the knowledge that Beal will be locked away for many years, during which she will have more than enough time to reflect on her actions. She has demonstrated extraordinary evil. Behind her facade as a kindly schoolteacher, she was secretly planning the cold-blooded killing of Nick. Once the deed was done, she went to great lengths to conceal his body, dumping him in an impromptu grave like rubbish, before carrying on with her life as if nothing had happened. You can probably only imagine the sense of shock and devastation when we learned in March 2022 that Nick had been taken from us some 4 months earlier. 4 months during which myself and others close to him continued to receive messages from him as if Nick, just 42, was still alive, well, and moving on with his life. How far from the truth that was. Imagine how, on reflection, the revulsion one felt that at that day on Christmas 2021, when invited for a drink at her home. Devoid of emotion, Beal simply sat looking at me, the mother of the man whose discarded body she had single-handedly buried just feet away. Beal is pure evil, a monster who must now spend many years ahead of her asking why she killed my Nick. A good father, a good friend, and a much-loved son. Finally, I would like to thank the Crown Prosecution Service for their unstinting efforts and for the support provided to our family by the Homicide Service. In particular, I wish to thank Northamptonshire Police for everything that they have done since we first crossed paths one tragic night in 2022. For the way that they have conducted the investigation, ensuring this woman was made to face justice for her actions and supporting me and my family in what is the most difficult times of our lives. They have been invaluable and a constant source of strength. Thank you.
Detective Sergeant Spencer Bailey from the East Midlands Major Crime Team. Detective Sergeant Spencer Bailey from the East Midlands Major Crime Team. As the Deputy SIO on this investigation. We welcome the sentence handed down today to Fiona Beal, who will now spend many years behind bars for the cold-blooded murder of her former partner, Nick Billingham. Nick was a hard-working 42-year-old father who died at the merciless hands of Beal, who had calculated he'd planned his murder and the subsequent burial of his body in the back garden of their Northampton home. For months afterwards, she carried on living a life as if nothing had happened. But she was really living a lie. Using Nick's phone, she kept him in touch with family, friends and work colleagues, all of whom must have thought he was moving on with his life. But eventually, all the pressures of her guilt overwhelmed her. The journal, outlining what the jury was told was her chilling execution of Nick, meant there was never any doubt she had killed him. Working with colleagues in the Crown Prosecution Service, we were able to put Beal on trial for murder. The first trial, lasting almost 4 months at Northampton Crown Court, placed an extraordinary toll on Yvonne and her husband Russell. So there was huge relief when Beal finally realised the game was up and she changed her plea to guilty of murder just days into her retrial. This has been an extraordinary case in many ways, and the media interest has perhaps reflected this. But our job, both as police officers as well as the wider investigation team, was to ensure Beal was eventually convicted for this most serious of crimes. This was a pre-planned, cold-blooded murder after which Beal tried to cover up her tracks. We'll never quite know if that wholly unconnected visit by the PCSO to her home in February 2022 was to signal the beginning of the end for her. but it has brought us to today and the long-awaited sentencing of her to life imprisonment. I would like to thank Nick's family and his mother Ivana in particular for the extraordinary courage they have shown over this dreadful chapter in their life. We sincerely hope that they can now begin to find some closure and move forward to happier times ahead. Thank you.
Okay.